Animal sacrifice is the ritual killing and offering of an animal, usually as part of a religious ritual or to appease or maintain favor with a deity. Animal sacrifices were common throughout Europe and the ancient Near East until the spread of Christianity in late antiquity, and continue in some cultures or religions today. Human sacrifice, where it existed, was always much more rare. All or only part of a sacrificial animal may be offered. Some cultures, like the ancient and modern Greeks, eat most of the edible parts of the sacrifice in a feast, and burnt the rest as an offering. Others burnt the whole animal offering, called a holocaust. Usually the best animal or best share of the animal is the one presented for offering. Animal sacrifice should generally be distinguished from the religiously prescribed methods of ritual slaughter of animals for normal consumption as food. During the Neolithic Revolution, early humans began to move from hunter-gatherer cultures toward agriculture, leading to the spread of animal domestication. In a theory presented in Homo necans, mythologist Walter Burkert suggests that the ritual sacrifice of livestock may have developed as a continuation of ancient hunting rituals, as livestock replaced wild game in the food supply. Ancient Egypt was at the forefront of domestication, and some of the earliest archaeological evidence suggesting animal sacrifice comes from Egypt. The oldest Egyptian burial sites containing animal remains originate from the Badari culture of Upper Egypt, which flourished between 4400 and 4000 BCE. Sheep and goats were found buried in their own graves at one site, while at another site gazelles were found at the feet of several human burials. At a cemetery uncovered at Hierakonpolis and dated to 3000 BCE, the remains of a much wider variety of animals were found, including non-domestic species such as baboons and hippopotami, which may have been sacrificed in honor of powerful former citizens or buried near their former owners. According to Herodotus, later dynastic Egyptian animal sacrifice became restricted to livestock, sheep, cattle, swine and geese, with sets of rituals and rules to describe each type of sacrifice. By the end of the Copper Age in 3000 BCE, animal sacrifice had become a common practice across many cultures, and appeared to have become more generally restricted to domestic livestock. At Gat, archaeological evidence indicates that the Canaanites imported sacrificial sheep and goats from Egypt rather than selecting from their own livestock. At the Monte d'Acodi in Sardinia, one of the earliest known sacred centers in Europe, evidence of the sacrifice of sheep, cattle and swine has been uncovered by excavations, and it is indicated that ritual sacrifice may have been common across Italy around 3000 BCE and afterwards. At the Minoan settlement of Phaistos in ancient Crete, excavations have revealed basins for animal sacrifice dating to the period 2000 to 1700 BCE. However, remains of a young goat were found in Cueva de la Dajasila, a cave in Spain, related to a funerary ritual from the Middle Neolithic period, dated to between 4800 and 4000 BCE. Animal sacrifice was general among the ancient Near Eastern civilizations of ancient Mesopotamia, Egypt and Persia, as well as the Hebrews. Unlike the Greeks, who had worked out a justification for keeping the best edible parts of the sacrifice for they assembled humans to eat, in these cultures the whole animal was normally placed on the fire by the altar and burned, or sometimes it was buried. Worship in ancient Greek religion typically consisted of sacrificing domestic animals at the altar. With hymn and prayer, the altar was outside any temple building, and might not be associated with a temple at all. The animal, which should be perfect of its kind, is decorated with garlands and the like, and led in procession to the altar, a girl with a basket on her head containing the concealed knife leading the way. After various rituals, the animal is slaughtered over the altar. As it falls, all the women present must cry out in high, shrill tones. Its blood is collected and poured over the altar. It is butchered on the spot and various internal organs, bones and other inedible parts burnt as the deity's portion of the offering, while the meat is removed to be prepared for the participants to eat, the leading figures tasting it on the spot. The temple usually kept the skin to sell to tanners, that the humans got more use from the sacrifice than the deity had not escaped the Greeks, and is often the subject of humor in Greek comedy. The animals used are, in order of preference, bull or ox, cow, sheep, horses and asses are seen on some vases in the geometric style, but are very rarely mentioned in literature. They were relatively late introductions to Greece, and it has been suggested that Greek preferences in this matter go very far back. The Greeks liked to believe that the animal was glad to be